Hey guys, so I got two reviews to do today, and I want to get them done as quickly as possible. I've been working nonstop for the last week or so, and I'm actually going to be working 16 days straight by next week. My next day off ain't until next Friday. So I've been very, very busy, and I haven't been able to go to the theaters until today. Um, it seems like it's now becoming a trend for me to go to the movies on Mondays instead of Fridays, but that's probably going to change every other week. It's not always going to probably be on Mondays, my reviews. Um, but let's get into the movies I saw today. First one I saw was Sabotage, new Arnold movie. I think I've said this a few times in my videos that I am a diehard Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. I have always been since I was little. I always make it a goal to go see any Arnold movie that comes out. And the same goes with Stallone, as I've said before too in my videos. But I've always been a more uh, big have been a bigger fan of Arnold than Stallone, honestly. And I've always been pretty biased when it comes towards Arnold. Even his really bad movies, I usually like, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. Um, movies like Jingle All the Way is a good example. I mean, that movie's shit, but Arnold is fun as hell in that movie. Put that cookie down is a famous line of his. But I was looking. I was kind of looking forward to this movie going in. One being obviously that one reason obviously being that it's starring Arnold. Anytime I get a new Arnold movie, I'm happy. And two, this was also being directed by David Ayer. David Ayer is the guy who made End of Watch, which was one of my favorite movies of 2012. Was a really goddamn good movie. He's also written Training Day, um, and he's obviously, as you can tell, a pretty good writer director when it comes to like cop movies. And this movie looked like it would be interesting. I wasn't that greatly impressed by the trailers, but I was still kind of still sold one way or another. Just because it was Arnold and it also was being directed by David Ayer. Um, and also, this movie, I have seen that this movie's been getting really badly received by critics, but when it comes to Arnold movies, I take that with a grain of salt because not all of his movies usually get very well received. But, anyways, what did I think of this movie? I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't. It's definitely very flawed. Oh yeah, it's definitely flawed. Um, but there's enough of this movie that that uh, I can almost kind of recommend it for, especially if you're an Arnold fan. Um, Arnold is great in this movie. I've seen some critics actually give him a lot of praise for his role in this movie, and it's well deserved. This is one of his best performances, probably his best performance since he uh, quit being governor. Um, he actually, he shows some pretty good acting range in this, especially for Arnold. He goes into some pretty dark territories halfway through this movie, and when he does, it's pretty eerie, and he is pretty kind of it's kind of Arnold's kind of frightening, and it has a look like you don't want to fuck with him. Although I wouldn't want to fuck with Arnold on any other day. Even though he's like 50 years old, I still would never want to fuck with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, and yeah, he does pretty damn good in this movie. I thought he was the best thing about this film, acting wise. I also did somewhat enjoy the girl in the movie, the girl of the group. I don't know, I forget what her name is, but she was the wife in World War Z, and she's also the lead in the show The Following, which I never saw that show, but I hear really good things. I thought she was pretty good in this movie. I thought she was fine. She had some pretty memorable moments. She's probably one of the more memorable characters, side characters at least. You also have people like Sam Worthington, who until I saw his name pop up in the trailer, I didn't even fucking recognize him. He's like, he has a bald head and everything else. He looks completely different, and I give him points for that. I almost didn't recognize him. I wouldn't have recognized him if I didn't see his name in front of the movie. And it's kind of funny to see like him in a movie like this, because at one point he was like a really big actor, big name actor. He was in the movie fucking Avatar. He was in the Terminator Salvation movie, and he was like the next big name in Hollywood. And then he just kind of disappeared. And now he's in an Arnold movie. Although this movie does have other talented people, like fucking Terrence Howard's in this movie, but you'd almost forget that Terrence Howard is in this movie, because I'm not joking. Terrence Howard, I was kind of looking forward to when I saw that he was going to be in this movie. Like, all right, could bring some credibility into this movie with a guy like Terrence Howard. He's a pretty damn solid actor. I usually like Terrence Howard in anything he's in, but there are like points of this movie where he's just not in it. Like, you almost forget that he's a character in this movie, that he's even in this movie, because he just disappears. And I don't know what the hell happened. Like, did he not come to set all the time, or what the hell was going on? Like, there's no explanation of why his character just disappears, like, for majority of this movie, and then pops up out of nowhere. Especially towards the end. I'll get into that in a little bit. But, yeah, I thought that was weird. The girl who's the FBI agent, I don't know her name, but she was pretty good in that movie. Who was like kind of the love interest for Arnold, but actually wasn't. In the end, you find what really wasn't. But she was fine. I definitely dug the story in this movie a little bit. It kind of kept me guessing, honestly. That was one of the things I liked about this movie. Was pretty twisty and had some pretty interesting twists. And when you do find out who the person is that stole the money, because if you don't know the story, it's Arnold, and as the leader of a group of DEA agents that take down a Mexican drug cartel at their mansion, and steals or takes 10 million of their money, the cartel's money, and the money ends up going missing out of nowhere, and they don't know what happened to it. So that's what the mystery is, like what happened to that money. And also people from people in the group start slowly one by one getting killed off, and so they're trying to figure out who is behind all of this. And it's I give the movie props that it kept me kind of interested and kind of guessing where the fuck it was going. And I also give it props for, I won't give away the final twist of this movie when you find out who really was behind all of this. But when you do, I give the movie props that actually the twist actually made sense, and you kind of understood the motivations for this person. I actually, could understand why they did what they did. And I was fine with it. I was fine with the twist. It was one of those twists that I went, all right, that kind of makes sense. Also, I really dug the fucking ending. I won't say what the ending of this movie is, but the ending to this movie is pretty fucking awesome. I'll just say this: it involves Arnold being old school Arnold, and the fact that in the old days, back in the 80s, when you'd see scenes in his movies where he would be like one guy with a big ass gun blowing away like five or 10, 50 people or 10 people away with his big ass gun. Well, we get something like that at the end of this movie, and it's kind of fucking awesome. Where I do have problems with this movie is one, the fucking dialogue in this movie is pretty bad at points. This movie was written by Skip Woods, co-written by Skip Woods, and also co-written by David Ayer. I think a lot of the first half of this movie was written by Skip Woods. I'm pretty fucking certain. Skip Woods, you don't know who he is. He wrote A Good Day to Die Hard. In movies like, I think, Max Payne, too. Or Max Payne, I mean. And it's definitely... I definitely think he had a big part in the first half of this movie, because some of the dialogue in this movie is fucking terrible. I mean, it's somewhat unbearable at times. And it got on my nerves a couple times. It did get a little bit better towards the end of the movie, but it did become a little unbearable. Also, before I forget, one thing I forgot to mention, something I also liked about this movie, is that this movie is really well made. It's really well shot. David Ayer definitely knows how to make a good cop movie, and movie like this. I mean, he definitely knows, and you definitely see his style of filmmaking or his stamp on this kind of movie. You see it definitely. He's like something I had noticed that he has in a lot of his movies. You see like a point of view from like the gun, like, and you see a point of view from the gun, and that actually is kind of a cool camera move. I like that. You would know what I mean. Some people probably go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" If you seen his movies, you probably would know what I mean. I think he does really well in this movie, and he actually holds the camera still for the most part, and you can actually tell what the fuck is going on when there's key action sequences going on. But back to the bad stuff of this movie, like I said, the dialogue was crap. I will admit the dialogue in this movie was crap, some of it. Also, like I said, the character development in this movie is kind of not very good. Other than Arnold does become pretty much a kind of a three-dimensional character, honestly, towards the end of this movie. You understand his motivations of what he's doing, and stuff like that. And but other than that, there's not much character development for any of the other actors in this film. Particularly, there's a twist that happens before the final twist. There's a twist before the final twist that makes any sense. That involves Terrence Howard. That's all I'm going to say. It involves Terrence Howard and another person in the group. And it comes out of fucking nowhere. Literally, it fucking comes out of nowhere. And there's no build up to it. There's no setup. Honestly, that's one thing I will bitch about in the end of this movie, is that it felt very fucking rushed. Like they had to figure out, oh, we gotta end this movie somehow, so let's just fucking rush it as quickly as possible and get through the twist as quickly as possible. To the point, like I said, when that twist with Terrence Howard comes up, it comes out fucking nowhere. And also doesn't help that Terrence Howard's character isn't in the movie for like long periods of time, which is, like I said, you forget that he fucking is even in this movie at some points. Yeah, I thought that, that felt rushed and came out fucking nowhere. There was no setup, and honestly, kind of like almost towards the end, I was almost confused because of how fast it was going. Like the twists were coming. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? But I did catch on later on, or as the movie came to its conclusion, I did start to figure out what was going on. But anyways, I guess that's more all I can really talk about Sabotage. I recommend the movie. If you're an Arnold fan like me, go see it. It's not a terrible movie. It's just an okay. It's definitely helped by Arnold. Because Arnold is just fucking Arnold. And again, like I said, I'm biased when it comes towards Arnold. And also, this movie also is a fucking paid advertisement, an hour and 40-minute advertisement for Pabst Blue Ribbon. I can guarantee you make a drinking game of how many times you see Pabst Blue Ribbon pop up in this movie, which is kind of funny. Which I mean, I don't know who anybody other than my great grandmother who used to drink Pabst Blue Ribbon. Um, but yeah, like I said, I recommend it. If you're an Arnold fan, I did get a couple trailers, interesting trailers. What the hell was that one I got? Let's Be Cops. There's a movie fucking about. This sounded really fucking dumb. It was a comedy about these buddies who decide, oh, let's they go to a Halloween party dressed up as cops, and they realize how much attention they get when they're dressed up as cops, and how much women really dig cops. So they figure, oh, let's pretend to be cops in real life, and that's not illegal or anything. And that could not, come to bite you in the ass in the end. I don't know. I mean, it didn't look that very funny at all. I thought it was all right. I mean, it didn't piss me off. The trailer didn't piss me off. It didn't look that very funny. I also got, what was that other one? Oh, I got the new Purge Anarchy trailer, which it kind of looked a little bit better than the first. That trailer made it look a little bit better than the first trailer did. I like that they're doing something a little different, and it looks like they're going in some weird territory with this one. Like at one point at the end of the trailer, there's a bidding on who will get to kill these people or certain people for the purge. It's really fucking weird. I'm like, what the hell's going on there? Kind of interested what the hell's going on there. I mean, maybe it's. I like that maybe they're going to try to do something different. With that kind of concept, like the purge, you can do some interesting, fucked up stuff. But I don't know whether it's going to be good or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I wasn't that big of a fan of the Purge. It was an alright film, but it was just a very generic home invasion movie. That's about it. It had a really interesting concept that was ruined by the fact that it was just a generic home invasion movie. Oh, and then I haven't seen this trailer until today. The Guardians of the Galaxy trailer. That looks fucking funny. I laughed in that trailer. That actually looks like it'll be a lot of fun. That's the dark horse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because not a lot of people know about it, and I'm interested in how that's gonna do. But that actually looks like it will be pretty funny. Chris Pratt definitely looks like he'll be a lot of fun in that movie. And I like the stuff with John C. Reilly in that trailer too. He's in that trailer too. Then the introduction they give to each of those characters was pretty funny. Yeah, I'm kind of I want to see that movie. That trailer sold me on it. Definitely did. All right. I'm gonna get off, and I'll be back with my review for Noah, which I am gonna have a lot to talk about with that one. I can tell you that right now.